This is Steve Roby coming to you from the Big Island of Hawaii, and you're listening to Songs and Stories. Aloha, this is Steve Roby, and the podcast is called Songs and Stories. It's a weekly get-together with me, your host, and a selection of Big Island musicians. We get together and we talk about their songwriting process, and I let them pick two songs that they'd like to talk about, and we chit-chat for about 20 minutes, and I think it's a great opportunity to get to know some of our fellow Big Island musicians, artists, and maybe we'll at some point even branch out further and get into some other of the artists that are here on the island. So today's guest is a country western group based in Hilo called Bending Elbows. And this is part 2 of the series that I did last week called Music from an Empty Theater. The Palace Theater, as you know, has been closed since late March. And but the creative team there, Zoe Eisenberg, Phil Payson, and musician Drew Daniels got together, and they do a weekly video series where they bring in about 3 acts, and they spend about 4 or 5 hours getting the music or the juggler or the comedian or even an aerialist they had a couple weeks ago together to do a couple of performances that they get down on video, and then a couple weeks later they post it on their YouTube channel. You should check it out. I'll put a description in the description area below this podcast, and you should check it out there. So let's get back to Bending Elbows, country western band based in Hilo. I got to sit down after their performance and talk to the guys. The interview starts out with them introducing themselves and giving us the listeners, a little background of how they got together, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Clinton Alexander.
And I'm Ryan Tanner.
Hello everybody, I'm Mark Panic.
What's it like playing at an empty theater with no audience? You guys finished a set out there.
I'm used to that.
Reminds us when we first started.
Well, this is a unique series that Zoe and Phillips started here at the Palace Theater. And I think this is the 14th or 15th show without an audience there. And they're getting out the music and the videos out on YouTube. So it's exciting for me to hear you guys play here. I got a couple of questions for you. And let's start on the background of the group. When did you guys form? How'd you get started? How'd you meet? That kind of thing?
Oh, we all met through paddling outrigger canoe out here in Hilo on Bayfront. We did that for a number of years before we even knew how to play an instrument together as a band. So the band actually was in my shop every Friday. We'd pauhana. We started playing music. 9 months later, we're at a party in Pohoiki somewhere playing for a barbecue or something. And that's kind of where people kind of pushed us to go out into the public eye and play music.
So you guys must have had similar musical interest, influences?
Not really. You know what? I got an upright bass, and I want to learn how to play it. So we started moving towards a kind of acoustic sound, and then one day, we couldn't really figure out what we were going to play, but we were playing at our friend Shane's house, and he's a Paniolo from Waimea. His dad's a Parker Ranch cowboy, he's from that whole tradition. And we brought our gear, and we brought our speakers and our PA, and we were playing the crap that we play, on Pauhana days. And after we were done, Shane, after a couple of beers, he had Pandora going on, and it was like Waylon Jennings and Johnny Cash and this country stuff, and he was kind of slurring into the mic, and Ryan and I looked at each other and we were like, man, that's what we should do, man. We got an upright bass, ukulele, and an acoustic guitar. We should try some country music. It wasn't really our thing to begin with, but our dads used to listen to it. We grew up with that stuff, and we just started loving that kind of music, and it just kind of went in that direction.
Is everybody originally from the Big Island?
I was born here, and I grew up on Maui.
Okay.
I grew up in LA, California.
Yeah, I grew up on Long Island. I've been here for the last 15 years.
We covered the map there. Oh, it's further as you know. We're 3,000 miles apart.
Nobody's from Nashville, nobody's from Texas.
Well, tell me about the songs you played this afternoon. You did 2 originals.
Yeah, the first one is called That Lost Highway. That's on our EP that we put out last year. Recorded that up at, Starstruck out in Fern Forest at Dave Millington's studio. And that song I kind of loosely wrote about my experience I was going through when we lost our place out in Leilani, and kind of this feeling of uneasy, not knowing what the future brings, or what was going to happen a year from now or the next day. So it's kind of just a song that came out really easy. I wrote it in like a couple of days, and then I tried to not really talk about that experience, but make it kind of cryptic in a way. So that kind of, if you're struggling through anything, you can maybe kind of identify with the lyrics of it and not have a specific meaning per se.
Aloha, everybody. We're a band called Bending Elbows. Bending Elbows was born on Makamai Street in Leilani Estates about maybe 3 years before Fissure 8 opened up and covered Ryan Tanner's house, chasing us out of that neighborhood. He wrote a song about that. It's a title track for our CD called That Lost Highway, and we are really honored to be playing that for you folks live from the Empty Palace.
My truck, put it in drive, leave that old life, and begin again. I'm gonna hold my head up high and proud, never gonna let that woman bring me down. 'Cause there's a lot to live for, a lot left behind. I don't seem to see the end inside, I'm rambling, yeah. Out on that lost highway, life could be different if the time don't slip away. Out on that lost highway, my dreams may be broken, but I just can't wait to see my friends and all my family once again. I'm rambling now. Journey with its twists and turns, some blaze trails and some get burned again. And when she chased me out of my neighborhood, never knew the blessings that she'd give me there. Well, all those things that I thought I did never meant a damn thing to me way back when. I was young and dumb and no good bum. I never thought of where my life should end. No. Out on that lost highway, gotta keep on trucking, yeah. Gonna live life day by day, yeah. Out on that lost highway, I can find myself a new direction, I just might be the man she always wanted me to be. Always wanted me to be, yeah. Always wanted me to be, yeah. I'm rambling now. Out on on that lost highway.
All right. Bending Elbows and That Lost Highway, live from the Palace Theater in Hilo as part of their Live from an Empty Palace video series. I should probably give you a little background on this info, on this interview that I did there. It was done in the lobby of the Hilo Theater. And I don't know if you've passed by the theater recently, but they're doing a lot of outside and some inside construction work, bringing it up to code and making it more modern, so that when that day comes and we all get to go back in the theater and enjoy movies and concerts and whatever's going on there, it's going to be looking nice and feeling nice, and I can't wait for that day. Let me get back to the interview that I did with the Bending Elbows guy in the lobby, where you probably hear a lot of construction work going on in the background, a lot of ambient noise, people passing by saying hello. They don't normally do interviews in the lobbies, so that was kind of a first. And also, too, since I only have 2 microphones, the guys were having to pass the microphone back and forth. So you might hear a little bit of rumbling back there, and they were kind of getting a little laid back and loose and not always remembering to speak deeply into the microphone there, but you can hear what they're saying. They were having a good time there. In fact, when they finished their 2 scheduled songs in their set that will appear on Hilo Palace's YouTube channel in a few weeks, they wanted to play more. They asked, is it okay if we play? We haven't played on stage in a long time. And so they just went into some cover songs and were having a good time and really didn't want to stop. The third group that came along was like ready to get on stage. And these guys were just warming up. It was a lot of fun. Let me jump back into the interview. This is Clinton Alexander speaking, and he's talking about a song that he wrote. And he plays ukulele and does vocals on that. So let's turn that over to Clinton Alexander.
Second song is called Country Town. I wrote that song a few years back, actually. That song is just about getting together with friends and having a good time, playing music together, like, Kanikapila style in the backyard, and just having a good time, playing music and creating more of a family atmosphere from just getting together and playing music.
All right, we're Bending Elbows. This song's called Country Town, and we're live from the Empty Palace.
Take a ride down the shoreline highway, ready for the night. Take a left by the old log cabin, hope you're feeling alright. We'll be having a good old time. Just come by and you will find up that winding road, flying high and never coming down. Up that winding road, heading home in this country town. Heading home in this country town. We'll take a walk through the forest and pass my torch around. I'm singing songs with my friends, take a look at what we found. And it's like we're family. Just come by and you will see. Up that winding road, flying high and never coming down. Up that winding road, flying high in this country town, heading home in this country town. having a good old time. Just come by and you will find up that winding road, flying high and never coming down. Up that winding road, heading home in this country town. Heading home in this country town.
All right. Bending Elbows, Country Town. I'm going to get back into part 3, the final part of the interview I did with Bending Elbows there in a minute there. But I just want to tell you what a fun band they are. In this third part of the interview, they talk about an upcoming gig they've got at the end of July. And so I recommend going and checking these guys out. They're ready to get back on stage, and it'll be a lot of fun there. I hope you're enjoying this podcast series called Songs and Stories. If you have any suggestions of groups that or individuals, musicians on the island that you would like to see me interview, drop me a line. There's info at the in the description area of this podcast where you can get in touch with me, and we'll schedule them to do a guest. Future episodes of Songs and Stories, we'll be doing phone interviews. There might be a couple of on-site interviews depending on how COVID-19 is affecting our island there. But kind of from here on out, we'll be doing phone interviews, which should be a lot of fun too. Let's get back into the third part of our interview, and I think you'll enjoy it. How have you guys been coping with this COVID-19 phase that we're in? When was the last time you guys played a gig? How long has it been?
Frick, what was that, February?
Yeah, it was like the beginning of March. We were starting to get busy too. We played
Halo-inu, shout out Halo-inu.
Yeah, Hula Hulas, Halo-inu, and then we had like a bunch of things lined up for March that, they got canceled.
Uh-huh.
And it was, we can't complain. I mean, people have had people die and stuff like that. It's been really tragic for a lot of people, but it was a big hole in our lives to not be able to go out and be with everybody that when we were playing. We got together a couple times and did a Facebook Live. And even that, when you see the little hearts fly up on the screen, it was like, wow, we're playing for somebody. Yeah. And that kind of, even that gave us, it reminded us of the connection that live music creates between the performers and each other, and then with the audience and whoever's around. There's just a special tribal thing that happens with any live music, and it's, at least people are trying it with the Zoom and the Facebook Lives and stuff, and just to see that even that is kind of fulfilling the need shows you how valuable live music really is when it's the real deal.
Right. Yeah.
So we can't wait. We can't wait to do it again. But.
Well, like the first 2 weeks, it was like, oh, we got a time off. We can like do my laundry or whatever, mow my lawn.
Little vacation, yeah.
And then, after about 3 weeks, you start going like, oh, I feel like I should be doing something on Friday and I can't. And, then all the things we did have booked, we were supposed to go off and fly around the islands and play music everywhere in new spots. So we know it'll happen again at some point, but it was kind of like we had a good trajectory going, and then this whole thing happened, and it kind of just put the brakes on everything. But we keep our spirits up, and we get together still and play music together. And kind of went back to our roots of how this whole thing started. We never played for anybody but ourselves, so the bonus of what we were doing for the last 3 years was just kind of like a result of bringing what we do in the carport to every stage we go to, or every bar, or every party we play at. We just kind of.
Is there any new material you're working on now?
Small kind, not so much. New covers for our set list and customer requests kind of things. Maybe we bring some of that out we come
Things
back
are
up.
always in the works, though.
Yeah.
We always
Yeah.
got ideas flowing. And
There's always a notebook, there's something that you recorded on your phone or whatever.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your songwriting process? Do you guys all get together, get inspiration?
Not so much.
It was kind of interesting. Like, I didn't know how that was going to happen, like if we're going to collaborate or, if we're going to, but it turned out like we kind of each write our own song. And there's not really a lot of no that goes on in this band. Everybody kind of like backs up. They throw in if somebody's excited about their song. Okay, here's what can I do to this song that is going to help it the way it is. And nobody really puts their hands on somebody else's song either. Or you got to change this or that. And so far, that's kind of worked out in a really cool way. Like the other two guys will treat it like they're learning a Johnny Cash song. It's really been, that's worked out so well for the reason that we're really different guys and we have different things to say. And whenever you write something, the only reason you do it is because you have something to say. And we don't really collectively have that kind of passion about one particular thing. So if Clint's got something to say, then I'm going to back it up with the bass. And if Ryan was, I didn't lose my house in Leilani, he did. Yeah. And that's how it kind of works out,
what does happen with us, we tend to bring ideas or song ideas, and it may be coming from an individual perspective, but playing that song together, it becomes a bending elbow song. More than, Mark wrote this, or Clinton wrote this, or Ryan wrote this. We bring the song to the table and it becomes a bending elbow song.
Yeah.
Even if we do a cover, we kind of approach it the same way. Like, we're not going to do the cover verbatim with all the hot licks, that we kind of we pay the song justice, but we do it in our style. And I think maybe that kind of comes through with our performances where people they know that song, but they can't really put their finger on it quite yet till the chorus comes around, and then they're like, oh, never heard it done like that. So that's been a kind of a cool, thing with country music. You can get away with your own interpretation of the song a little bit more than a rock band or something, because people want that Van Halen lick, or they want that signature thing to come through. And with country music, it's more about the content of the subject matter you're singing about, the lyrics. And as long as you're keeping true to the form of the basic structure of it, I think it plays well if you add your own style to that versus other music that kind of, you can't really veer too far out of the lane with some of the other types of music, because people want to hear those certain things that are in those songs. And I guess with country it's the same, but I don't know, we just take it into our own place and make it happen.
Who came up with the name Bending Elbows?
I did.
Is there a specific story about that?
Well,
that's for real though. He didn't just make it up. Yeah, tell him. Yeah.
well, it's a slang for drinking beer. Okay, I'm going to the bar, bending elbows, and unfortunately, that was how this band started. So to pay homage to our roots, we found that name.
As a Paul on a Friday, fun time.
I found that name though. I searched all over. I was like, I wanted to have a name that no one else had. Nothing's been used, and that was one that I couldn't find. I found a plumbing company called Bending Elbows.
Oh yeah, because PVC or whatever, right? Yeah.
So I was like, that's it. We got to do it. And I had a list of names. There, it's a weird process to name a band. I've been in a few different bands, and that's always a lot of friction. And somehow this one, we just was like, okay, we might not like it now, but eventually it's going to grow on.
But that's an authentic you didn't make it up. That's an authentic cowboy term for drinking beers.
Yeah,
it's for real. Yeah.
It's a slang, cowboy slang. Drinking.
What's the first thing you want to do when you get back on a real stage in front of the audience?
Have some fun. Have some
I
fun.
want to go like this, man. I want to hold my hand up to my ear and hear him sing along.
Our first gig coming back will be at Halo-based July 31st from 7:30 to 10:30.
All right.
And the last time we played there, the place was pretty full of people. So I don't know with the new rules what it's going to shake out to be like in there, but we're just excited to get back out and play music for the community again.
Well, guys, thanks so much for your time today.
No problem.
What's the best way for fans of your music to find you?
Go on our Facebook, Instagram. If you want to shoot us an email, bendingelbows@gmail.com.
Got some videos on YouTube.
We got a little YouTube thing. Everything's kind of in its early stages, so we're working on content still. And
Yeah, we don't do a whole lot of hustling around, so
yeah,
give us a call and we never say no.
and yeah, you can catch us anywhere around town we're playing.
Good. Well, again, mahalo for your time today, and good luck. Hope to see you back in the venues real soon.
Thank you, Steve.
Yes, Thank you so much, Steve.
Great, thanks.
Awesome.
Good. Bending Elbows, the band that never says no. Do check them out on social media and the web, and their music is everywhere on Apple Music and Spotify, and I really think you'll like it. Coming up next week, the third part and final part of the Music from an Empty Theater at the Palace Theater is my interview with Robert Savory and his band. He's really got a unique style of music and has been around in the music business for a while. He talks about working with his brother and opening up for some of the top country western music bands in the 1990s. So that'll be a lot of fun. That's it for me, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining us today. You can leave us a comment that might be included in a future episode by following the link in the show description below. This program is a production of Big Island Music Magazine. You can find us on the web at bigislandmusic.net. And be sure to follow us on Facebook. I'm Steve Roby, and this is Songs and Stories.